I
cards
press the
I'm.
record button and say, yo, what up?
Ayo, ayo. How
You're
you
going to make
doing?
me read every single card in this deck, aren't you?
100%. Yeah. Let's ignore the part that I think 80% of my attack lineup are unreleased cards. My character's unreleased. I'm like a little kid. I get very bored with the old toys very quickly, and when I
Uh-huh.
see a new toy, I'm like, ooh, I want to play with this.
Okay. So give me the pitch. Give me the pitch.
So the pitch is kind of I've not really had a hyper aggro character I've really fallen in love with.
Right.
I didn't really vibe with Jiro that much. Tokoyami Daniel was playing when he was our local, and I refused to play the same deck as another local. And Froppy, I always assume, or I've been assuming, is going to get banned at some point, so I didn't really want to learn her. But when Ojiro's kid was revealed, I thought, or character was revealed, I thought his character was very interesting on his face. And especially when I saw people saying that he's just mediocre, I'm like, oh, I need to prove this character's better than just mediocre. And I think the attack lineup that really did it for me, that really sold me on this character, was basically all of Eraserhead 2's kit. On all, especially, so he gets a few extra attacks from Eraserhead 1 because he gets to play this really sick combo game where he's just dropping attack after attack after attack, all of which don't usually get higher than 5 or 6 difficulty.
Okay. Gets for each different printed attack zone in your card pool that includes itself, so everything gets +1/+1. Everything gets
So, yeah.
+3/+3.
So the goal is to get to +3/+3 every single time if you can. And the main way we do that is actually we want to see Student of the Art as much as possible because Student of the Art builds one in from your discard. And then since you're Ojiro, it doesn't count towards progressive difficulty. So it's just a free zone, a free +1/+1 on all your attacks.
Okay. Alright, I can dig it. So, excuse me, what is the goal? What's the point of the deck, Doctor?
The goal is to kind of tweak this, get this to a position where I think it's good for like full testing against players. You know, it's in where it's done with theory crafting, and I don't have anyone to theory craft right now on this character, so I'm forcing you to be held hostage for 30 minutes to help me kind of get this to a good testing stage.
Sure. I can accept that.
If you want me to go over some of the cards I was considering in the side deck, I can.
I'd love that. Yeah. As I
Yeah.
continue to walk through.
So the main side deck options that there are a few of these that are kind of interesting. The main ones were Sugar Rush Power Up, which was actually in my initial build, but I cut it because to me it's so much more important that we see these unique zone attacks than it is an action that kind of serves as another attack damage wise, but doesn't give us that extra zone we need. And I would find that especially since this deck can very easily turn to an opponent if you get the right setup, it ends up in this awkward position where on turn 2, I don't have enough in my discard to even resolve the Sugar Rush power-up.
Right.
So I ended up cutting that for now, although I could be convinced to bring that back in if we feel it's good. Binding Cloth Mastery is just because we're running, I think 20 of our 22 attacks all have the word binding in them. So I considered putting that in there to reduce difficulty, but I found that because Binding Cloth Whiplash doesn't count towards progressive, I was actually very rarely getting attacks over 5 or 6 difficulty, so I didn't know if that was really worth the forecheck and the commit cost and using up one of my 2 difficulty slots that I'm kind of mixed on. Revel is pretty simple. It's the one I'm pretty sure I'm not going to put in. The only idea for it is, especially if we were wanting to play Sugar Rush Power Up, it does mill the top of your deck for free damage, makes Sugar Rush much easier to resolve if you get one of these. That was the one I was least certain on. Celebrity Status, I really like, and I'm really tempted to bring in. I just don't know if there's room, especially since if you go to our stats, I think I have like 38 mid blocks right now. Yeah, 38 mid blocks and very low highs and lows. So I just don't know if there's room for this. Although if I could put it in, that'd be great because then I can use celebrity status, put back a momentum, and grab it with something like Destined for Mainstream or Preparing for Battle. But I don't know if I have room for that. You're So Obvious probably stays a side deck card. And I don't know if I have any room for that in the main board. Night Watch would only be brought in if I was bringing in Sugar Rush power up, because it does give me that extra cancel, which is really nice. The attack lineups from kind of most to least, or least to most considering. Staff Strike I had in an early build, but I actually wound up cutting Staff Strike because I just found that I didn't really want to deal with like the card pool having both foundations and attacks, and most of the time if I was seeing Staff Strike with a way to resolve its combo and get more attacks off of it, I was probably winning the game by replacing that with like what was that? What did I replace it with? Binding Shoulder Rush. So I just found that Staff Strike just wasn't really working as a 6 diff in my deck. Expert Flurry I only put in the side deck because I'm considering bumping it up to a 4 of, because right now we are sitting at 6 highs, 8 mids, 8 lows, and I don't know if we want to make that a full 8, 8, and 8. Crate Capture Net I considered for a little bit. The best thing about Crate Capture Net is if you draw Student of the Art, you can play Student of the Art, play Capture Net, build down Student of the Art, but I just don't know if that's worth the relatively lower power on Capture Net relative to our current lows, which are Binding Cloth Precision, which is an absolutely cracked damage dealer for late in the chain, which we can get to really easily, and Binding Cloth Whiplash, which is basically Crow and Frog takedown and allows us to do these insane long strings. I just don't think we have the room for that as a low attack, but I could be convinced otherwise. The biggest one I've been considering, and I've been back and forth on, is Unwavering Slash. Mostly because Unwavering Slash has 2 really good options for me. Option number 1 is Box Full of Babies, which Box Full of Babies gets to be an extra cycle card when we build it in to try and see our 3 zones of attacks. Not to mention, if we build in a Box Full of Babies with Unwavering, we get to also draw another card. So we get to basically become a 7-hander that also got to cycle 1. Or if I was worried about potential Deadlock Punish or having a bit more damage reduction, Quick Creation was the other option I was considering to put Unwavering in. My Unwavering would normally be an easy one to put in, but my main hesitation towards Unwavering is that it does not combo with Binding Cloth Whiplash. Whereas the current thing that I've put in place of Unwavering, Binding Shoulder Rush, does. I don't know if that lack of combo is worth it or not. That's something I've been fiddling with and would love to hear kind of thoughts on. And then Hero Killer was just the last thing I threw in there. It's mostly just if we need better Deadlock Punish or we're looking for more high blocks, it is a pretty good one to put in because we are running an entire weapon package. I know I probably went a little overboard explaining there, but that's kind of what I'm thinking with each card.
I'm so sorry, I was muted. Can you say just all that again for me one more time?
Oh, the whole thing you got, buddy.
All right. Just kidding. The only other thing that I would bring in about Quick Creation is that it does let you bring in an attack of a zone that you don't have. So it's like more copies of Student of the Art that do counter as progressive.
Yeah, if that's the thing that's on the top of the discard pile, which we do have a little bit of manipulation of with floating around my babies.
Right.
Which could be worth considering.
All right, I've added a couple cards.
Oh, okay, cool.
Patient Observation. I think this card is the opposite card of Spooky, whereas Spooky is just like switch them as like your cool unique card. This doesn't say the word unique, but I think it's as one of its fine. Discard momentum, commit. This thing is -4 speed. It says that 2 more symbols get access to sticky balls. Great.
As a 1 of, I'm down.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I think that's an easy 1 of.
Prone to Dry Eyes.
Okay.
When they stun you, when they jolt you, or I guess jolt, they wouldn't target this. It's very, very good. If any of our cards draw bonus cards, right? This card is nuts. Discard all of my bad foundation cards. Slam +1 damage on everything. So now he says +1, +2. Even if it's just discard the 1 card, I think this is totally fine.
Do we have mid-block room for it right now? That would be my big question.
No idea. I'm just looking at card text.
Okay. If we can find room for it, I'm down.
Unexpected hero. You're just gonna trade your third attack's speed for damage.
Sure, because I guess it does allow us to at one point turn a +3/+3 into a +0/+6 when we know they can't block.
Especially if we've got something like a Binding Claws Precision that's also getting its own +3/+3 late in the chain.
And it also has a bonus if my opponent's playing like a Deku or something on defense, I get to also draw cards.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense.
We're a chaining deck. We're a string deck, and we're only playing 3 checks. Advice for winners is a no-brainer. Check battle all. And then in the same way that you want celebrity status to work, you could do award the victor, where after this thing hits, stack it on top of my deck. Something along the lines of like if it just says that you've got more Binding Cloth Whiplashes, right? Like I sling a move, I sling Binding Cloth Whiplash, I play Total Erasure Binding or whatever, right? And then Erasure hits. You just stack it with Award the Victor because you're not getting any bonus after the third one. And then you could play another move, right? And so
but if it's not another high, then I'm down to +2/+2 for the turn.
Sure, but you know you're going to guarantee past your next move.
True.
And I think +2/+2 is great, right? It's also, this is a 3/5/1 high block. Like, I think there's just, like, good shit to be said about this.
Honestly, the strongest argument for me is the fact that it's a +1 high block, because that's one thing that we are dealing with right now. Our blocks are really bad.
Yeah, your blocks suck.
Yeah, my blocks are terrible. That's the main reason, actually, I put this deck in. Blocks are the one thing I am incapable of being good at. I do not understand deck building with blocks in mind.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for, baby. That's what I'm here for, baby. Why are you playing Homage? What's building?
It was mostly for the defensive draw because I was finding an issue in the early game of like, I was a 6-hander, I wanted to sculpt attacks, but I wanted to really keep the attacks in my hand. Homage gave me some extra draw power.
We're going to play Unexpected Hero instead.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll put this to a 2 of so you can still do the cute thing you're trying to do. We're going to put this down here. And the main reason is this card also says flip your opponent's move gets -3 speed. So it's a response speed specialist of sound on
also means it works incredibly well with Spooky as well.
Correct.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
What's this number doing?
Do you mean why do I want it to be exactly 66?
Are you okay with me cutting it? Are you okay with me making it bigger? Are you like?
I'd like to keep the ratio about 33% attacks. I'm down with you cutting it lower though, as long as the ratios stay relatively similar.
Yes, sir. I can do that. I think challenging the fakes and floating around my babies have terrible block modifiers.
Yeah.
Closing in, preparing for battle. It's interesting.
One reason I like preparing for battle a lot is one of the things Binding Cloth Precision gets to do is it gets to look at the top of my deck. I may discard it. If I see a 3 check there, then instead of discarding it, I can preparing for battle, draw it, and have another attack to string with.
Right.
Don't know if it necessarily needs to be a 4 of, but I think at least at a 1 or 2 of, I see a lot of value in it.
Yeah, that is fair. I need to go back up and look at just foundations. Closing in is too good of a card.
Yeah.
Daunting Message
great block too.
Could probably go down to a 1 of.
I don't know.
One Rival Foundation. Oh, we get to pick.
And we get to pick. It's basically Electric Jolt on a foundation. Yeah.
Correct.
I did not realize how good it was till I was actually looking at test hands. I'm like, wow, if they draw me below half, I literally just get to jolt their best cards and try to kill them on the crackback.
I've taken out 2 floating and then took out both the other one. We're gonna put
You took out challenging the fakes?
Yeah.
You don't think the breaker 2 on an attack is worth it?
You gotta
point.
block things, man.
Fair point.
And then we'll go back. Man, this number sucks.
The problem is that the attacks are mid blocks, but there aren't really great replacements for the attacks right now.
They're
What is the
all
block?
mids.
What's the block on Unwavering? That is one reason to swap Unwavering or Shoulder Rush. I
Oh
know. Trust me, I
no.
know.
Oh
Eraserhead's kit has a
no.
ton of mid blocks. I
What
don't
is
fully know why.
happening? Of
I
course they
know.
have mid blocks. Erase has a mid block. We have to have all mids. Alright,
So,
man. Let's go look at some attack. I didn't think we had to do attack cards, but that's okay.
if you want an immediate one that I can see, Binding Shoulder Rush is a mid block. I could easily see swapping that for the Unwavering, which is a low block.
Alright, give me 1 second.
Yeah, you got it, buddy. Don't sweat it.
Oh, it's because... Alright, the other option is Erasure Grasp. That card sucks.
Yeah, that's
Final Exam
that's
Gut
blunt.
Shot isn't a card. You say just your attack. Unwavering Slash. If we put in a Unwavering Slash, though, like... You, like, have to put in assets.
That is true.
And that just,
But
like,
we
messes
can-
all this up, too.
Yes. There is the option to put in.
Mid-block.
Yeah, that's the other problem. Is they're both mid blocks.
Yucky. Man.
And now you see why I had to come for help on this one.
Yeah.
Blocks were my real conundrum with this deck.
How is the deck at killing people? Is it killing people while only blocking like once or twice a turn, or?
Well, I haven't been able to do it in live games, but hands where I draw any way to get to 3 zones can consistently do anywhere from 30 to 55 damage.
Wow. Okay.
Off of like 5 to 7 foundations. One of the reasons I was actually cool with potentially running some assets like Box Full of Babies is because of Whiplash, because of precision being half my attacks being 4 diffs actually. I felt very comfortable playing on like killing people on like 5 or 6 foundations. 8 foundations is where like I can easily kill, but 5 or 6 felt pretty comfortable killing.
Okay. I mean, I guess what we do here is, I mean, we're at 16, 16, 34, which is better than the 12 that we started with, right? Because
There's an improvement.
We slammed the 4 advice for winners in the deck.
Yeah.
Which I think is going to make you kill people even faster, because even then, like, you're not going to check poorly once. Oh.
2CA.
Thank you. So I think that this might actually just be the list, and just realize maybe you just like sideboard more foundations with
Better blocks for when we need it.
Yeah. Like 2 more unexpected heroes, and then maybe I know Filler said something about putting in Earphone Jack, but that card does actually nothing on offense and only is a flow card when we want to re-ready a thing. Like,
yeah, I actually much prefer Box Full of Babies or Quick Creation if you're going down the asset route. I get those are mid blocks, but
yeah. Binding Cloth Assault is the best attack in your deck, bar none.
Whip Assault or Whiplash?
Whiplash.
Yeah, Whiplash is cracked. This card is insane, and it's the biggest reason why I keep hesitating on Unwavering, because like the fact that whenever I draw this, I just get to slam it down, and it just ignores progressive. I've had hands where I draw like 2 or 3 Whiplash, and I'm like 3 attacks deep and have like 1 progressive.
Yeah.
So it's the only, I don't know, with Unwavering is the one I keep debating, because Unwavering is draw a card, ready a foundation if you've got an asset in your discard. And like, the assets are good, but are they worth it?
I personally don't think so. I think you actually like, I think just increasing this block number to 16 and just
Might be
realize
enough.
that like some like They're all in your foundations, so build the ones that matter.
Hold the ones that don't.
You just don't get to. You just don't get the whole double hold highs or lows, right? Like you just can't hold 2 low blocks. You have to build one of them, or else you just don't get to like keep the stats up.
And the
might
upside
need quick
to
for weapon deadlock. You can sideboard it if you really need to.
and the one upside for like the
And hero
attack.
kill is better than that because you can stun everything out.
Yeah, I agree with that.
These are all weapons.
And the upside to the attacks being where the mid blocks are is like as an emergency, if I need to partial block things and eat up some of my attacks I'm holding, it is doable.
He can't pick up.
If you're asking, can he pick up on defense? If you do block with 3 separate zones, or you block with 2 zones and Student of the Art a third one in, yes, you can.
But it doesn't say attack card. It says attack. They weren't played as attacks.
I don't think that's how it works because Student of the Art can build in to pick up whatever you built in with Student of the Art. Can pick. At least that's how everyone I've seen has been ruling it. Because all attack cards are treated, I think in the ruling, attack cards are treated as attacks after they fully resolved. But I won't swear to that.
I'm so sorry. I would get that double checked.
Yeah, I'll get that double checked.
Because if so, that makes him way cooler.
Yeah.
If you block correctly, if you have a bunch of attacks in your hand, you
Yeah.
get to your face is struggling with studies. That's tight.
Yeah. I'm not sure how often I'd want to give up 3 attacks to. I mean, I guess if I have to not die,
When
of
you're
course.
dying?
You know. Yeah, I guess when you're dying, what's your options?
Yeah, near Kansas. I also don't think he grabs on defense, but it will.
It'll be one of those 5% of games that will be crucial.
Yeah, because.
Oh, you don't think he grabs on defense? Sorry, I see what you were
I
saying.
don't think he does because he doesn't say attack
I-
card.
I will double check the ruling
We
on
will
that
see.
because everyone I was seeing in the Shameless Discord was acting like it did, but I will double check that.
Well, they're all a bunch of baddies, so
They're all terrible at the game, so
just the worst.
because that actually does change a lot of the viability of the deck because one of the things that Student of the Art is supposedly able to do is it tutors in any attack, which you can then pick up. But if it doesn't, that changes how he plays a lot. So I'll need to check that.
Yeah. I agree. Because that's what I thought you got to do it as well. But reading the cards, add 1 attack. Yeah, just not being able to go pick up whatever you want.
But that says add 1 attack from your discard pile. They aren't attack cards in your or they aren't attacks in your discard pile either. So if we're going with that logic, wouldn't the foundation literally do nothing?
Huh. Well, I already thought this card was bad. So
The foundation is literally cannot be played.
yeah.
I would assume because they have similar wording
Yeah.
that they both can do attack cards. But I don't know. It's also possible that they are meant to say attack cards and Jasco did an oopsie.
Yeah.
We can't eliminate that possibility.
Certainly cannot. Yeah, I would honestly, I would message somebody at Jaska. I'd message a judge.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot a question, and I'm actually right now gonna write one up for in the rules questions in the main server,
Yeah.
the super official server.
All in all, though, man, I think this is a really good starting point, especially for like all we've seen is the character card and Student of the Art. We're pretty sure that he doesn't have full support, right? He's only got 3 cards.
We are confident that every character we've seen so far is a 3-card kit assuming there isn't just random back page that supports them, which there very well may be.
So your goal is to have a combo attack that's a mid attack and a low block in his kit, and then we're
That is
golden.
also a weapon.
That is also a weapon, right?
Which I somehow doubt Ojiro is going to have a weapon. I don't think it's
tail,
black
obviously.
though. Oh, his tail. His tail's,
His
a,
tail's a
his
weapon.
tail's a weapon.
Yeah.
I mean, if Froppy's tongue is arranged, why not, right?
Correct. Obviously. All right, man.
All right.
Thank you much for hanging out. Thank you for the support on Patreon. I'm excited to see.
Of course, buddy.
I'm excited to get my ass beat by this.
Oh yeah, tomorrow. If you're playing games tomorrow, I'm gonna come destroy you. Thursday. I'm gonna come destroy you Thursday.
Hell yeah. All right, buddy. Let me shoot you back over the list, and you have a good rest of your day. Okay.
All right, you too, man.
All right. Peace.
Peace.